Hey Raylee, and welcome back to another message from your father. So we are looking at Numbers 10 and 11 today. And if you hear yourself squealing, it is because you're having, I think it's turkey and pasta and peas tonight. And you're either really excited or you hate it. It's currently kind of hard to tell from the sound of it. But anyway, Numbers 10 and 11. I don't know if you can hear that. Again, you are really loving it or really hating it. The lamp setting is what we looked at yesterday, setting up of the Levites. We looked at the Passover celebration, and then also, again, that cloud over the tabernacle. So we talked to that as well. Today, the silver trumpets leaving Sinai. So we've been there for a while. And then also quail for the Israelites, and we'll talk about that pretty briefly. Once again, Numbers 10 and 11 today. So starting off with chapter 10. The Lord said to Moses, "Make 2 trumpets of hammered silver, and use them for calling the community together and for having the camps set out. When both are sounded, the whole community is to assemble before you at the entrance to the tent of meeting. If only one is sounded, the leaders, the heads of the clans of Israel, are to assemble before you. When a trumpet blast is sounded, the tribes camping on the east are to set out. At the sounding of a second blast, the camps on the south are to set out. The blast will be for a signal for setting out. To gather the assembly, blow the trumpets, but not with the same signal. The sons of Aaron, the priests, are to blow the trumpets. This is to be a lasting ordinance for you and the generations to come. When you go into battle in your own land against an enemy who is oppressing you, sound a blast on the trumpets. Then you will be remembered by the Lord your God and rescued from your enemies. Also, at your times of rejoicing, your appointed feasts and new moon festivals, you're to sound the trumpet over your burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, and they will be a memorial for you before the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God. On the 20th day of the 2nd month of the 2nd year, the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle of the testimony. Then the Levites set out from the desert of Sinai and traveled from place to place until the cloud came to rest in the desert of Paran. They set out, this first time, at the Lord's command through Moses. The divisions of the camp of Judah went first under their standard. Nahshon, son of Amminadab, was in command. Nethaneel, son of Zuar, was over the division of the tribe of Issachar, and Eliab, son of Helon, was over the division of the tribe of Zebulun. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonites and Merarites who carried it set out. The divisions of the camp of Reuben went next under their standard. Elizur, son of Sheradur, was in command. Shalumiel, son of Zurishaddai, was over the division of the tribe of Simeon, and Eliasaph, son of Duel, was over the division of the tribe of Gad. Then the Kohathites set out, carrying the holy things. The tabernacle was to be set up before they arrived. The division of the camp of Ephraim went next under their standard. Elishama, son of Ammihud, was in command. Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, was over the division of the tribe of Manasseh, and Abidan, son of Gideoni, was over the division of the tribe of Benjamin. Finally, as the rear guard for all the units, the divisions of the camp of Dan set out under their standard. Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, was in command. Pagiel, son of Ochran, was over the division of the tribe of Asher, and Ahira, son of Hanan, was over the division of the tribe of Naphtali. This was the order of the march for the Israelite divisions as they set out. Now Moses said to Hobab, son of Ruel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, "We are setting out for the place about which the Lord said, 'I will give it to you.' Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised good things for Israel." He said, "No, I will not go. I'm going back to my own land and my own people." But Moses said, "Please do not leave us. You know where we should camp in the desert, and you can be our eyes. If you come with us, we will share with you whatever good things the Lord gives us." So they set out from the mountain of the Lord and traveled for 3 days. The ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them during these 3 days to find them a place to rest. The cloud of the Lord was over them by day when they set out from the camp. Whenever the ark set out, Moses said, "Rise up, O Lord. May your enemies be scattered. May your foes flee before you." Whenever it came to rest, he said, "Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel." Chapter 11. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. The rabble with them began to crave other food, and again the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost, also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it, and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it in a mortar. They cooked it in a pot or made it into cakes, and it tasted something like something made with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard the people of every family wailing, each at the entrance to his tent. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to their forefathers? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, 'Give us meat to eat.' I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, put me to death right now. For I have found favor in your eyes, and if I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin." The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders, who are known as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take of the Spirit that is on you, and put the Spirit on them. They will help you carry the burden of the people, so that you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, 'Consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, when you will eat meat.' The Lord heard you when you wailed, 'If only we had meat to eat. We were better off in Egypt.' Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat it for just 1 day, or 2 days, or 5, 10, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and you loathe it, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have wailed before him, saying, 'Why did we ever leave Egypt?' But Moses said, 'Here I am, among 600,000 men on foot, and you say I will give them meat to eat for a whole month. Would they have enough if flocks and herds were scattered for them? Would they have enough if all the fish in the sea were caught for them?' The Lord answered Moses, 'Is the Lord's arm too short? You will now see whether or not what I say will come true for you.' So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of the elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with them. And he took the Spirit that was on him and put the Spirit on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did not do so again. However, 2 men, whose names were Eldad and Medad, had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but did not go out to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since youth, spoke up and said, "Moses, my lord, stop them." But Moses replied, "Are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit on them." Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to camp. Now, a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It brought them down all around the camp to about 3 feet above the ground, as far as a day's walk in any direction. All that day and night, and all the next day, the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 20 omers. Then they spread them out all around the camp, but while the meat was still between their teeth, and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Before the place was named Kibroth Hattava, because there they buried the people who had craved other food. From Kibroth Havata, the people traveled to Hazeroth and stayed there. So I think it's a really interesting story for many reasons, but one of the big ones is how God drives quail in from the sea. And I think that's really interesting because we see God achieve his means in so many different ways throughout the Bible. And we see so many vast different examples of that. So we saw water from the rock already, and we'll see Jesus later on turn water into wine. So we see God providing water out of something that does not produce water. So God materializes that. Much in the same way that Jesus materializes more fish and more bread for the thousands of people who are listening to him. So God provides that material. He materializes stuff, but he also moves things around in a way that humans could not move things around. Driving quail in from the sea. Sure, I mean, we could gather quail and bring them to a specific spot, but as far as the eye could see, 3 feet deep of quail, that is absolutely incredible. I mean, I think it's interesting when people criticize the Bible saying, oh, how could God do this? But I think that's a lack of understanding of what people understand we believe. We believe God created all of this. And you've probably heard the potter and the clay analogy saying, hey, God created all of us. Who is the clay to speak to the potter about its shape or what it thinks things should be? We are so completely insignificant and minuscule, and yet God loves us. But let's not recognize and bring God down and bring ourselves up. We still need to recognize that that gap between man and God is huge, and only Jesus was there to bridge that gap for us. But that's the God that we serve, that can materialize anything he wants or move anything he wants, because that's just his nature. That's just who he is. So that's my prayer for you, is that you recognize the God that you serve and the God that you praise and love. That's who he is, and that's who we serve. And that when people come against you with an understanding of that, that you're able to communicate, hey, here's who I serve. I serve and I love the one that created everything. And that's a big testimony piece. That's a big piece that getting people to understand where you're coming from and who you serve. Anyway, know that I love you. It looks like my light went out. Good night. Anyway, know that I love you and I'm praying for you. And anyone else watching, know that I appreciate you as well. And I will charge my flashlight for tomorrow. Anyway, friends, we'll see you next time. Bye.